Welcome back to the Dragon's Lair, everybody. My name is Wade, and this is my show Let's Talk, where we talk about 40k, talking about Tyranids. I've got a really big playlist here with all of my Tyranid information. I'm going over the units I like, units I don't like, why, what they're good for. So maybe you can learn something. Maybe I can help you improve your game, and that's why I'm here, to share things that I love. So let's talk about Tervigons. Tervigons synergistically go well with Termagants. So go ahead and check out the video that I put about gaunts. I talk about the strategy. I'm going to mention some of the same things here. Tervigons are a monstrous creature. They're a big boy. A lot of people call them Big Mama because they give birth to Tervigons. I wish they gave birth to Hormagaunts. I wish you could choose. They maybe decide at the beginning of the game, but that they didn't do that. Anyways, movement 8. Let me tell you from experience, movement 8 is actually pretty good with the big base that they come on, the big oval base. Tough 11 is good enough. Is good enough. There's still stuff that's going to wound you, but tough 11 is good enough. Tough 9 doesn't cut it these days. 2 plus save, that's a great place to start. There's no one vulnerable here, but 16 wounds, which is one of our higher. It's right up there with the Norns. So 16 wounds with a 2 plus save, not bad. Get yourself some cover and milk that for as much as you can. Leadership 7. The Tervigon is a Synapse unit. It doesn't just benefit from Synapse, it gives Synapse, and you know that it gives Synapse because of the keyword section. So not this black part here. Go one over to the left where it says keywords, monster, character, psyker, great devourer, Synapse. When it says Synapse down here, it gives the 6-inch bubble. And because the base is so big, giving 6 inches off of the base of that is actually quite a bit of space. It's not gonna You're not gonna feel like it is in your mind, but it is when you see it on the battlefield. So keep that in mind. um, let's talk about the ranged weapons. Oh, sorry, I didn't finish that up. So he's always going to get 3d6 for leadership, which is great. Um, Objective control 5, which is really good. I'm suggesting that if you have the points and you want to play around with it, run at least one 20-man of Termagants with him. Run two 20-mans. It's not that expensive. You're talking maybe 400, 500 points for the whole thing. It's a lot of board control. If you play it right, it's very tough, and it pumps out a lot of damage. So just listen to the whole story. Go ahead and watch the Termigon video. See what I'm talking about, but I'll tell you the same story here. Stinger salvos, not great. 24 inches, 8 attacks. Pretty decent to hit. With that strength, your wounded Marines on 3s, which sounds good. They're going to shrug most of that off with no AP. And then, it's going to take 2 damage to kill a Marine, so you're not going to get a lot of kills. He kind of shines, or she, I guess, because she's a mama. She kind of shines in the melee combat world there. So let's see. It's equipped with the Scything Talons. It looks like you can take the Scything Talons off to put the Crushing Claws on. I would almost rather keep. I don't know. I love Crushing Claws. So let's talk about keeping the talons. So you get to choose your 8 attacks, or your 4 attacks. Um, it's good for infantry. If you want them to beat up vehicles, go with the Crushing Claws, of course. Like if you want them to fight a dreadnought, Strength 12, AP 3, D6 plus 1. That's really good. I think you're probably more likely to be in melee combat. So having to sweep, or focus strike, I think that's your best option just because of what he's likely to get into. Keep in mind when he's 1 to 5 wounds, you subtract 1 from hit rolls, which is not great, but he's got a lot of wounds and a great toughness. Odds are there's other things on the board that they're shooting at. Deadly Demise D6, so keep in mind, if she dies, roll a D6. If you get a 6, then everything within 6 inches, every unit in 6 inches will take a D6 mortal wounds. Shadow in the Warp, so you can drop the Shadow in the Warp. It's available to drop as long as you have something on the board that has Shadow in the Warp. Odds are, your Hive Tyrant or your Neuro Tyrant or whatever is going And then when it says Synops under faction, that means it benefits from Synops. It will get the 3d6 to roll leadership on. So here's kind of where the fun gets into. So spawn Termagants. In your command phase, you can select a friendly Termagon unit within 6 inches of this model and return up to D3+3 destroyed models to that unit. A Termagant unit cannot be selected for this ability more than once per phase. It's important. I'm focusing on important words here. So then Brood Progenitor, Aura, Psychic. While a friendly Termagon unit is within 6 inches of this model, ranged weapons equipped by this model and that unit have lethal hits. This is where the number one strategy comes to be involved. So if you have two 20-man Termagant units, and you have like 1 or 2 Gaunts from each of those units within 6 inches of the Tervigon, then they're all within Synops. They're all within the Brood Progenitor aura, okay, and they'll have lethal hits. Watch the Termagant video that I made. If you put Devourers with them, so that 20-man is getting 2 shots at 18 inches, okay, at strength 4. So you're talking a 20-man is now shooting 40 shots. Both of those squads are shooting 80 shots all together, okay? And now they have lethal hits, which means if you get a 6 to hit, you automatically have wounded. You're going to get 6s. You're going to roll 80 dice. You're going to get 6s, okay? So that is putting wounds on vehicles, dreadnoughts, Lionel Johnson. You know, a lot of that stuff is they're going to shrug it off with invulnerables or their saves or whatever because there's no AP on it, okay? But the point is, the more wounds you pile on, the more saves your enemy will fail. 40k to a large degree is about making your enemy fail saves. Let their dice defeat them. Put them in a statistical situation that will cause bad dice rolling, which happens to all of us, be their downfall. Okay? So that is how the Tervigon synergistically works well with Gaunts. Okay? Also keep this in mind. Gaunts have an OC of 2. If you have 40 Gaunts with an OC of 2, you're talking about, 80 objective control. Now, sure, you can't fit 40 Gaunts onto an objective. There's too many Gaunts, okay? And the Tervigon gives 5. But the point is you have more than enough objective control to hold an objective and take it away from your enemy with 40 Gaunts and a Tervigon, okay? Plus, they're super tough. This combination is super tough. Okay, it's super tough. It pumps out damage. It's hard to shift. This is a great strategy. Okay, with the Tervigon, with his toughness of 11 and 16 wounds, and then all the Gaunts, maybe you'll get an inexperienced player who's going to try to kill the Gaunts. Okay, and that's where I film all these videos from the perspective of Invasion Fleet because it's I feel Invasion Fleet has the most tools to get the job done. Okay, that's why I promote Invasion Fleet as much as I possibly can. Keep in mind it's a character, so you could like Synaptic Linchpin it to give it a 9-inch aura. It's only going to work for Synops. But keep in mind you can use the Rapid Regen stratagem on him to give him Feel No Pain 5 because he is a Synops creature. So Feel No Pain 5 on him with a tough of 11 and 16 wounds. He's going to live forever. And then keep in mind your 2 squads of 20 Gaunts. When people shoot at them, you can then use the Endless Multitude, Endless Swarm. It's the stratagem inside of Invasion where you pick 2 squads inside of Synops, which they'll both be, and they each get to return D3+3 back to them. So keep in mind, in that situation, 2 squads will get a D3+3 each, and then you can spawn Termagants into one of those. So the one that's damaged more is going to get 2d3+6 back. It's a very demoralizing thing to have killed 15 Gaunts, and then all of a sudden 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 come back. And that's if you roll average. So it's a great stratagem. It's a great synergy. Use those things together. It will blow the socks off your enemies, especially people who don't know Tyranids. We here at the Dragon's Lair understand that you can spend your time anywhere on the internet. I want to say thank you for spending your time here with us. I really enjoy sharing this stuff with you guys at the Dragon's Lair.